Welcome to the Honorably Discharged exhibit, presented by the St. Johns County Clerk of the Circuit Court and County Comptroller's Office. This exhibit is dedicated to honoring the brave men and women who have served our nation with courage and commitment. As we reflect on their sacrifices and contributions, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to all veterans. Your service has protected our freedoms and shaped the future of our communities. We invite you to explore the stories and legacies of these remarkable individuals, whose dedication continues to inspire us all. We hope you enjoy this presentation, and we salute you for your service. The St. Johns County Clerk of the Circuit Court and County Comptroller is proud to honor the brave men and women who served our nation during World War II this Veterans Day through a special virtual exhibit. This tribute highlights the sacrifices of veterans who recorded their discharge certificates with our office, preserving their legacy of service. Before the adoption of the DD Form 214 in 1950, veterans received discharge certificates in various formats, each symbolizing their profound commitment to defending the freedoms we cherish. This exhibit stands as a powerful testament to their courage and dedication. The front page of each discharge document resembles a certificate, while the second page captures the veteran's story, including personal details, duty stations, battles, and more. The documents in this exhibit were carefully preserved using the technology of their time, safeguarding their legacy for future generations. In-person viewings of these historic records are available upon request. In 1919, just a year after World War I, the St. Johns County Clerk of Court began preserving military discharge certificates as part of its statutory duties. Veterans would bring their discharge certificates to the courthouse, where deputy clerks carefully photographed and recorded them in the soldiers' and sailors' discharge record books. The courthouse was located at the corner of Charlotte and Treasury Street during this time period. The soldiers' and sailors' discharge record books served as the original repository for maintaining veterans' discharge certificates. The images in these books appear as negatives, reflecting the copying technology used in the mid-20th century. Today, positive digital images of these records are available, and the soldiers' and sailors' discharge record books are no longer used for record keeping. All DD-214s are now recorded directly into the official records. The Honorably Discharged, Private Henry Jones, was the owner of Henry's Pie and Pastry Shop at 72 Washington Street in Lincolnville. He enlisted in the U.S. Army at age 39. After 3 months of service, he was honorably discharged in 1943 to accept employment in an essential industry. He is laid to rest at Craig Memorial Park in St. Augustine. Private Henry Jones trained at the U.S. Army Cooks and Bakers School at Fort Benning, now Fort Moore, in southwest Georgia. This school specialized in teaching soldiers the skills of cooking and baking to sustain their fellow troops. Shortly after World War II, the school was permanently closed. The building is now home to Fort Moore's finance office. The Honorably Discharged, Technician 4th Grade Will Speed. TFG Speed enlisted in the U.S. Army in October 1942, bringing his experience as a truck driver into service. He utilized his civilian skills as an automotive mechanic, serving for 2 years and 9 months. Speed was discharged at Camp Blanding on August 4, 1945, just 2 days before the U.S. dropped the first atomic bomb on Japan. The Honorably Discharged, Technician 4th Grade Virginia D. Edwards. TEC-4 Edwards served in the U.S. Army during World War II, participating in the campaign to recapture New Guinea from Japanese forces, which lasted from January 1942 until the war's end in 1945. Throughout the war, she worked as a message clerk. After her honorable discharge at Fort Bragg in 1945, she returned to civilian life as a telegraph editor for the St. Augustine Record. That same year, Edwards resided in one of the few apartment buildings on Davis Shores, just before the post-war building boom on Anastasia Island began. The Honorably Discharged, Private First Class William Proctor. Private First Class Willie Proctor, born in Picolata, left school after completing the 3rd grade and enlisted in the U.S. Army at age 24, just 3 weeks before the United States entered World War II. PFC Proctor served throughout the entirety of the war, spending over 3 years overseas as a munitions specialist with the 609th Ordnance Company in North Africa, Sicily, Rome, and Naples. The Honorably Discharged, Sergeant Edward William Jones. Enlisted in the U.S. Marine Corps just over a year before the United States entered World War II in December 1941. He served on islands in both the frigid Arctic and the tropical climates of Southeast Asia. A skilled rifle sharpshooter, he played a vital role in key campaigns at Kwajalein Atoll and Eniwetok Atoll in the Marshall Islands, as well as in the liberation of Guam. The Honorably Discharged, Private First Class Chester E. S. Benet Jr. Enlisting in the U.S. Army in November 1940, just a year before the U.S. entered World War II following Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor, PFC Benet served as an infantry soldier in the Ryukyu Islands east of Japan and in the Philippines. He was honorably discharged at Camp Blanding in October 1945 at the age of 26. Following his military service, Benet was elected as a St. Johns County Commissioner and served as chairman of the board in 1984. The Honorably Discharged, Sergeant Warren E. Mills, Jr. was born in Loretto. He resided in northwest St. Johns County in Switzerland and enlisted in the U.S. Army in 1942. As a tank destroyer crewman, he served across Africa and Europe, where he was wounded in France and awarded the Purple Heart. The Honorably Discharged, Pharmacist's Mate 3rd Class Eunice Robinson. Enlisting in the U.S. Navy in 1943 at the age of 34, he completed Hospital Corps School at the U.S. Naval Hospital in New River, North Carolina. He was honorably discharged as a Pharmacist's Mate 3rd Class, or PM3, at age 36 from the U.S. Naval Hospital in Memphis, Tennessee. The Honorably Discharged, Sergeant Gene D. Thompson. A resident of St. Augustine, he enlisted in the U.S. Army in 1943 at the age of 20 and flew missions with the 707th Bomber Squadron in Normandy and northern France in June 1944. Serving as an airplane armorer gunner, he was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross for his valor and was honorably discharged in 1945 at Camp Blanding. Appointed in December 2019 by Governor Ron DeSantis, then elected in 2020 and re-elected in 2024, Brandon J. Patty serves as the St. Johns County Clerk of the Circuit Court and County Comptroller. The Clerk of the Circuit Court and County Comptroller is your public trustee, responsible for safeguarding public records and public funds. The Florida Constitution established the Clerk of the Circuit Court and County Comptroller as a constitutional officer, directly elected by and accountable to St. Johns County residents. Thank you for watching our virtual exhibit, honoring the brave men and women who have served our nation with courage and commitment. Our office can be contacted by calling 904-819-3600 or visit our website at stjohnsclerk.com for more information about the clerk's office or to take advantage of our online services.